So I'm just gonna have them guys do a little bit of introduction, just what year you graduated, your major, and if you wanted to shout out any Alianza involvements. But yeah.
Cool, I'm Josh Cruz. I graduated in 2021 computer engineering. My pronouns are he, him, and I was just a general member.
Hi everyone, my name is Elissa Ocampo. I use she, her pronouns. I graduated in, wait, did I already say 2021? Alright, sorry. I'm an education major and I was a spring intern.
Hi everyone, I'm David. Pronouns he, him. I was a business administration major and I was a BMC co-coordinator in Pack 45.
Hello everyone, my name is Alysa. I graduated in 2024. My major was human biology. I was a Cordillera coordinator. Yeah. I was a third year class rep. Yes. And no one's scared, but but yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so we're gonna get started with our preset questions. We will be having an open Q&A towards the end of the meeting, so if you want to ask a question to our alumni, please scan the QR code at the top. But for our first question, for our alumni, Kababayan has served as a space for people to form friendships and connections. Beyond meeting your partners, what made it such a powerful place for building community?
Okay, I can go first. What made it a powerful place for building a community is I actually joined Kaba in my second year, and so my first year I was very antisocial and didn't go out. So joining Kaba forced me to go out and meet friends. And Kaba was the perfect place to do that because beyond meeting Lisa there, I was able to meet some lifelong friends. Two of them are over there here today, and many more that have been a part of our lives since we graduated.
Just to piggyback, I would say likewise, I met all of my best friends in Kaba. I was in Selva and Selva, and it's like the furthest point of UCI from the rest of UCI, so I would say that it was kind of hard to meet people unless they were in Selva, so Kaba allowed me to meet so many new friends. Again, we're still friends with all of the people we met, so 2 of them are here, so yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of like the community I've built in Kaba, I think the thing I really appreciate about it is how comfortable everyone can kind of be in it, but also push your like boundaries and kind of get out there. I think a good example for me personally was joining Packin, because I transferred here in 2022. So when I first heard about Packin, I was like dancing and singing, like I'm good, I want to do that. And then I ended up really enjoying it, found myself finding a space in Packin through BMC, and then eventually being the BMC co-coordinator and then going into performances. So it just allows you to really be comfortable, but also like push yourself and stuff.
I think starting college in 2020, that was like peak COVID. Everything was online, but I wasn't in Kaba yet. But transitioning into in-person 2021, I feel like it was such a welcoming space and very refreshing because I was so used to sitting behind like a screen and not really like meeting anyone. It was honestly pretty lonely. And I feel like Kaba has so many different like facets and opportunities for us to like meet different people that you wouldn't really expect to be friends with and just like have that connection until like after you graduate. And I feel like it was very like refreshing to have this space outside of school and really just build different connections.
Thank you to the panelists for that response. I think it's a friendly reminder that Kaba has served as a second social place for all of us general members, especially in times when we could feel lonely. For example, coming into Kaba as a second year, like what Josh said, living in a far dorm, like what Lisa said, and being a transfer student, also facing COVID during tough times, like what Alyssa and David have said. So for the Kaba serving as a second space for all of us to feel included and for us to grow personally and professionally through the opportunities that we provide is a great reminder for all of us to really make use of that space, because we're not here for that long. We only have 4 years to be in such a tight-knit circle, and then we're off to the real world. So really take into advantage the space that Kaba has provided for us now. But thank you again for those responses. We're going to be moving into our second question. And again, there's a QR code for asking separate questions, where later on for the second half of panel, there's going to be an open Q&A where the audience members can ask the panelists questions. It could be to the entire panel, it could be to a certain person on the panel, so make sure to scan that QR code. But looking to our second question, it is, looking back, why was having this community crucial during your college years, and how has its importance evolved in your life after college?
Yeah, so I think the community that I built in Cabo was really important. I think, like I was saying, kind of to continue what I was saying earlier, just the people around me pushed me a lot. Like a big reason why I joined Packin was because my mentor was Packin Core, so she kind of guilt tripped me into it. And if I wasn't in that space, and even though in my first year I was only in BMC and I was kind of in PSP, not really. So I think just being able to see the performances and how the whole show ran, and I guess feeling that Packin magic everyone kind of talks about, it really let myself kind of be more involved and I guess free in my fourth year, where I was on board, and then I also did performances. And I think that applies to my experiences now, because I think a big reason why I got my role with the Dodgers Foundation is through my role with BMC. It's kind of funny every time I connect with friends from Caba now, and they just kind of ask me oh, what do you do right now with the Dodgers and all that stuff, and I explain oh, I'm part of our fundraising team and I do X, Y, and Z. They're just oh, so it's just BMC. So it's kind of just a really big part of where I'm at right now, and just that community that I built is a big part of that as well.
This community has helped me find something stable and a foundation as a rock. Wherever you go in life, you met your core friendships and community that even if you fall back, there's something there. And so when you have that confidence that there's always something there, it makes it feel like you can't really fail. So I've evolved in the way that I don't have much fear in failing. I am almost done with my PhD, and I'm getting married, so okay, sorry, that's it's hard to get back from that one, but I would say that oh my god, sorry. It has evolved in ways that I never knew it could, and one of those things that Kaba has taught me is that our parents worked really hard to get us here, and with that, it makes me feel like I can work just as hard or harder for them. So having that, being around other people who understand the immigrant dream and what that means to come here, allows me to evolve in ways I didn't know I could. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but
yeah.
Woo!
I feel like having Kaba was very important during college, because I feel like so many of us are going through similar experiences. We all this is like probably our first time experiencing independence, like living on our own and just starting like fresh, like completely. I feel like it was very comforting knowing that, and having Kaba as like a space to, you know, just like connect and relate with each other, and it really builds like a support system, I feel like. And I also feel like it can be pretty stressful with like school and like midterms and relationships. I feel like Kaba is such like a constant. I think even after graduating, I'm a pretty like shy person. I have a hard time reaching out to people after college, but I feel like I'm still not scared to reach out to the friends I haven't seen in a while. Like, we recently had like brunch with a friend from Kaba. It was really refreshing and it was nice to catch up. And also, being in Kaba also like taught me how to nurture like communities outside of college and after graduating. Like, for example, I live in like a very small town, so there's not many people from Kaba that live around me. So it just taught me to nurture the different communities I did have, like my hometown friends, like at work, getting along with like coworkers and making sure like I keep those connections, and I'm like, yeah, nurturing those communities.
Yeah, so I already mentioned how Kaba kind of forced me to be more social, and how it's built many lifelong friendships, but even outside of friendships, it's helped me professionally and be more confident in my work. It's helped me to stay connected with former graduates of Kaba, even some recent graduates, shout out Malia. And yeah, so it's really helped me to just stay connected, and also Lisa was the first of us to do these alumni events, so I think if she didn't start doing these, then I wouldn't have, and so it's just a wide kind of like branch of connection that Kaba helps build.
Yes, thank you guys for sharing your guys' Kaba experience. I know as college students, we are always looking for that community, and I feel like Kaba is a really great space to meet new people. Even though we all share like the same Filipino identity, we all can meet people of different backgrounds, and the people that we meet actually really truly impact how our future goes, and it goes to show with all of your guys' involvements and how it translates to the life that you guys are living right now, like working at Dodgers or getting married, and it's amazing to see how Kaba has opened those doors for all of you. So thank you guys for sharing. So now we're going to take a quick little break. Our open Q&A will be after our rapid fire questions. So here's the QR code again if you guys want to ask a question, but we will have a 7-minute break. Yes.
If we could all come back to our seats, we'll be starting the next segment of our panel. Okay, hi everybody. This is the next segment of our panel. It's a fun little activity. It's called Soulmate. So the alumni couples will be given whiteboards to test if they are true Kaba soulmates. For this segment, their answers on the whiteboards have to match each other, or they could also be open-ended and they could explain them themselves. So our first question is, what did you give each other on your first anniversary? Yeah. So it should include what both of you gave each other. You guys should have the same answer for just a
Jude.
10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you could hold up your whiteboard. So, what did they say, guys? So, for Elissa, it's an adventure book, and for Josh, it's a trip to San Diego. For David and Alyssa, it's a trip to Carolina. Catalina. Okay. Shout out Carolina. Okay. Our next question is, where did you first meet? Specific. Ten more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you could hold up your whiteboards, please. Okay, Dr. White. Okay. Good job, you guys. Oh, okay. For Josh and Lisa, it's the Dr. White room. Could you guys elaborate on that a little bit?
My second year, her first year, very first Kaba meeting, general meeting. And we met, we got in the same like icebreaker group, and so we started talking. We exchanged Snapchats on aging. And we didn't start talking immediately, like it was like maybe 2 months after. And then I saw her, well, she actually flaked on our first date. And so, yeah, and I was like super salty, I was super simp about it. And then I happened to see her at Winter Banquet. And then, yeah, she did look good. I was a bit drunk. drunk, so I had that liquid courage in me. And then I went up to her and asked her when we were going to run that date back. And then she said, when are you going to ask me? And so the rest is history.
Now for David and Alyssa.
We met at our third year bonfire that I hosted. Yeah, we were doing icebreakers and I felt like a bum. Like, I felt really gross, musty. There was so much sand. I was like covered in smoke. And I was just really tired. And then I was like, you know, I need to like do icebreakers. And then he like said he lived in the Philippines for like 7 years. And then, like, I think we were just like hanging out. And then I was like, hey, do you want to like go like touch like the water or whatever with like everyone else? Yeah. And then he only said like 2 words. He's like, no shot. And then that was it.
Okay, thank you, panelists. Our next segment is open-ended.
So for our next 2 questions, instead it's going to be you guys guessing if you can correctly guess your partner's answer. So for our first question is, what is your partner's exact favorite sweet treat drink order? So down to the ice level and sweetness, maybe boba, matcha, lattes. So let's see if you guys can get it correct. You're writing your partner's answer. So try to guess your partner's favorite drink. You better get it correct then.
So you don't have like a set.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you guys hold it up for the audience to see? Ooh, okay, let's see. David, Joshua, what did you write? Jasmine green tea with sea cream and egg pudding, 50% sweet, light ice. Is that correct, Lisa? And then Lisa, Joshua said an ice Americano. Is that correct? Okay. David, Alyssa says strawberry matcha, extra sweet. TBH, anything strawberry. Sure that. And then you said matcha inspired. How do you say? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's in my car.
It's in your car. Yay! Great job, guys. We're going to the next question. Okay, what is your partner's biggest pet peeve? Or general? Okay, you guys have 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you guys show your answers to the audience? Ooh, what did they say? Joshua, you said laziness. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then you said sleeping late? I don't know. No. David, you said not putting things back or LA/OC drivers.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said being late consistently. Is that correct? What's yours? There you go. What do you have?
My pet peeve is when, well, I guess in general, and also when Lisa does it, is when she cuts me off when I'm speaking.
Good answer. Good answer. We're going to the next set of questions. Thank you guys for your answers. Yes. Okay. So your next question is, what is your partner's favorite love language? To
to receive. Like, I like receiving quality time. Yay!
Acts of service.
Acts of service, mention guys.
So what about all of you?
Receiving gifts.
Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, let's see them. Ooh, okay, so acts of service, is this true? Yeah. Ooh, okay. Wait, period. Food, is this true?
Does that count?
Does that count? Yeah. You know what? Yes, it counts. Yes, it is. Okay, there's two. Okay, so quality time and physical touch.
Yes.
And then lastly, quality time and acts of service.
Yeah.
Okay, and next question. And this one is just for you, so you just say your own response for this question. What is your current love song on repeat right now? You don't need your whiteboards for this, you can just speak on the mic. Oh, okay. Oh,
It just came out, E85 by Don Toliver.
Stick with you, Pussycat Dolls.
Thinking out loud, Ed Sheeran.
I don't know the artist's name, but I think it's called Falling Slow. I think her name is like Sienna or something like that. Oh, okay. And your next question is, what's your piece of advice for someone trying to find their Kaba crush / bestie?
Everyone's listening. Everyone's listening.
Keep at it, because be persistent. But not like a creepy way, but like, just, yeah. If you know what you want, go after it.
I think you should always shoot your shot. Even if they don't like you back, that's fine. Also, don't be too desperate. I'm not gonna lie, don't be desperate. You know your worth.
Just stand there and they'll come to you. Then just, yeah.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of just shoot your shot, because it's better to live with rejection than regret.
These were all good answers, you guys. All right, but in the end, this rapid fire questions, nobody wins because what we win is love. And now we're going to start with our open Q&A. So,
Hi guys. So our first question is as a computer engineering major, how did Kaba help you with networking and find professional opportunities? This is specifically for Josh.
It helped a ton, like I already mentioned, it helped me to better communicate with people, be less socially awkward. From a more specific sense, I met my best friend Jules at Kaba, and he's also in the same career path as I am. We're both software engineers now, and he really helped me a lot. Early on in my career, we worked on projects together. He helped me interview prep, and so yeah, just network. You never know who you meet in Kaba.
Yes. So, that's true. So for a lot of us in Kaba, we included finding connections and being like, and finding your limits and your social circles is really important. Finding networking and expanding your limits. So yes. So our next question is, what advice would you give people to finding their bearings post-grad? This is for all panelists.
I would say that it doesn't come easy. Once you graduate, you feel a little lost. For 4 years, you're with the same people. You are a student since you were in kindergarten, so it doesn't get easy. And sometimes the job market that you go into is not your fault. So you have a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of fear, but it always works out as long as you work hard. And for me, I've been able to meet a lot of people, like alumni too, that have helped me get jobs and etc. So I would say stay connected. When you bring a warm energy, it goes back to you. So at all times, try to be positive, and I think it always comes back around.
I agree. I think you should always try something you maybe wouldn't expect you would do. There's a lot of opportunities in that. Like, I didn't expect to do phlebotomy after graduating, but now I have a full-time job doing it, and it's through like a company that I want to go to school at, and like I think it is very hard. I took about like a year off of like not really doing anything, like, or at least like going to classes for phlebotomy, but like a whole year until I actually worked. So it's pretty tough, and I think if you keep at what you really want to do in the future, it comes a long way.
Yeah, I think for me, post-grad is like definitely scary, and I think, you know, you're coming from a space where everyone's in the same kind of place in life as you, and then now you're kind of just like thrown in the deep end and like you feel like very alone. But I think one thing is to kind of keep the pressure off yourself, because I think people's expectation post-grad is to kind of like get a full-time job and start your career. And sometimes, you know, with the job market, it's really difficult to do that. So I think just putting yourself out there and like trying anything. This goes before post-grad for me, but I started college as a kinesiology major and I graduated in business. So even though I wasted some years as a kinesiology major, those years like taught me so much, and it's a reason why I'm at the space I am right now. When I graduated, I thought I wanted to do digital marketing in sports, and then through finding different roles within sports, I found out that I kind of wanted to work with community more. And I've had roles doing digital marketing, and it just felt like it wasn't for me. So even though at that time I might have felt like, oh, I'm kind of behind, you know, I dedicated like so much time in college for this, and that's not what I'm going to pursue. I think it's important to kind of give yourself some grace and just understand that, like, even though you're going a direction and maybe you don't reach that end goal that you thought you would, you could always like redirect, and that's still like progress, just because you're like learning from yourself and your past experiences.
Yeah, and I'll kind of piggyback off of that is when you're kind of working towards your goal, you're making progress and you're building yourself up. And it feels like all this effort you're putting in might not amount to anything, but it's just those steady, like building those bricks steady by steady, and then eventually, you know, something will hit. You only need to, for example, with a job, like you only need, out of the hundreds of applications you shoot out there, you only need one to say yes to you. So it's just, yeah, you have to work really hard, and at the end of the day, you can't control like the outcomes, but you can control your inputs and what you put in and the work that you put in. So, yeah.
Thank you guys for those answers. I really appreciate the fact that you guys were really transparent about the fact that it's pretty rough after post-grad, especially with the job market. I think all of us agree that finding a job post-grad is a daunting task, but just the fact that you guys highlighted that
it's all a part of your journey, and that if you stick through it, then things will eventually work out in your favor. So I really appreciate you guys for highlighting that. Our next question is, if you can go back in time to when you were a student at UCI, what is one piece of advice you'd give yourself?
I would definitely say to take things seriously now already, because I will say I didn't start taking things seriously till like my 3rd or 4th year. But it would have helped if I was already kind of serious about my career as a first year, shoot, maybe even back in high school. That probably would have helped out. But yeah, so I would say just there's no better time to start than now.
Great question. I would say that I would have wanted to take things slower. I switched from bio to education and still graduated in 3 years. So I was constantly on a grind, and by the time I wanted to enjoy it, I was gone. So I would say that enjoying the people around you, fulfilling every, I would say, community need you want in college is most important, because once you get out, it is very tough to make new friends. So.
For me, not gonna lie, it would be go to class more. I did not go to class. But I think this is something that I realized post-grad. So I graduated in March 2024, and I didn't get my current role till January 2025. So it's kind of like a big period where I was kind of like in and out, like certain jobs and stuff, and I was really struggling with what I wanted to do for my career. And I think when I was like trying to figure that out, I was looking at like online classes and like online courses and stuff, and I just kept reflecting back on my time with UCI. It's like all this stuff was not free because I was paying for it, but it was just really right there. And as a student, you have like so many resources. Like your student email can get you in so many places. So I think just kind of taking advantage of like literally all the resources here at UCI and like what you really have in front of you. I even regret not taking some classes that have like nothing to do with my major, just for like the fun of it, just to learn. Maybe like my brain develop or something like before. But I think you have such a great resource here at UCI, and you're like paying all this money anyway. So I think just being like, just taking advantage of that as much as possible.
I think I would tell myself to go outside more. I feel like during college I was pretty stressed, and I found myself like tending to choose to stay inside in my own room rather than go out, like go to class, like David, and go to Kaba meetings, go to the UCI, like UCI's park, Aldrich Park. It's really refreshing, and I feel like we should take advantage of the space that we're in, because we only have 4 years here. Some of you guys have 3 for graduating early, or 2 if you transferred. So the time we have here is very limited, and I think you should just take advantage of everything that you have around you, like what David said, take advantage of your resources that UCI has to offer. Yeah. Thank you guys again for those answers. I really appreciate how insightful they were, especially since they're so various. I think all of us needed to hear some aspect of what they said, whether that be we need to lock in our classes. I feel like I personally need to hear that. But then also like just enjoying our time more and utilizing our resources. I think all of us need to take that in, and we're doing it right now by being here. So thank you guys.
Yes, so the next question for all panelists is, besides your partner, who is one person that has influenced you the most as a person? Or anyone, like anyone.
I guess from Kava would be my mentor, Shaq. Shout out to Shaq. I think, like I mentioned earlier, she kind of pushed me to join Pack-In and really like kind of forced me out of my comfort zone. And then she also works in a similar field as me. She works in like music and like entertainment. So I'm still in touch with her today, and we kind of like talk about like our struggles, finding jobs and stuff, but also like the beauty in the struggle. You know, we get to have access to so many like great events and stuff. But I just think like throughout my course, both here at UCI and just like even post grad, she's really been a great person that I can like lean on, and also just through the way she's been like very supportive of me and also like my men trips. Like all three of us are like all really close, so yeah, shout out her, and I think she was very influential.
I would say my first year, Guya and Ate, Miggy and Cheska. I don't know if anyone knows them, but yeah, I feel like, or it was my second year, it was my first year in Papa, but I feel like they really brought me out of my shell, and it made the Kaba space very welcoming for me, and I think they were, I don't know, I feel like they were very silly, so I felt like I didn't really have to take myself seriously, even if it was college, and they're also both like very like, they like locked in, and they were like very work hard, play hard, and I felt like that was like a really good mentality to be like, work hard, yes, towards like your goals and like what you want to pursue in the future, but also like play hard and like enjoy the time you have in college, and also just like making connections here.
There's a group, they're called the J Boys, because they all started with the letter J. Josh is one of them, but he was not. I'm like primarily talking about the other friends we had that started with a J. There were so many of them, but they were all of Josh's like guy best friends. It was my first time meeting a group of people that sincerely wanted you to succeed. Like they were kind, they became my friends, they became friends with my friends, and I would say that having their friendship taught me that life can be very fun, and there's no expectation for, like there was no other expectation. Like everything that you gave and they gave to you, there was like, it wasn't like transactional. So having those friendships were meaningful to me.
Yeah, so I already brought him up, and then Lisa kind of brought him up now because he was part of that group. My friend Jules, we pretty much kind of navigated Kaba together, and then we're also now navigating our professional careers together. And he's also the best man at my wedding.
Thank you so much for all of your answers. I also want to kind of talk about how you guys said your mentors, your group of friends, your kuya and ates from your fams, which I personally want to say, like, that was also my motivation in Kaba, and what's basically what made me stay in this space too. So, like, I want to say thank you guys for all of your answers. And for the next question, it is, for David, can you describe what you do working for the Dodgers?
So I play second base. No, but I actually work for the Dodgers Foundation, so that's like the Dodgers nonprofit, and I'm on the in-stadium fundraising team, and my main project is our online auctions. So we have online auctions that have all of like the players' memorabilia, so like signed or game-worn jerseys, baseballs, photos, like, and just like sometimes they have like cleats and helmets and stuff too. So I kind of like take inventory of all the memorabilia and then put them up on auctions. We usually have like 2 auctions every month, and yeah, my main focus is to just raise money for the foundation, and that'll go into our programming, which includes like our Dodger Dream Fields, where we go to low-income neighborhoods and then renovate like local baseball fields for like the community to use. And then we also have like Dodger Days, where the community can kind of come and like have a bunch of fun, and we have all of our partners like UCLA Health, Shoes That Fit. They give out like shoes and stuff like that. So very community driven, and then my place in that is just like fundraise and make money for the foundation.
Thank you so much for your response. I think that is a wonderful organization that you are working for, and yes, like help nonprofits, yes!
Okay,
Now this next question is from one of our audience members. So if we could get Nino to answer a question for Josh.
Yes, Nino!
Yes, Nino.
Mojo.
My name is Nino. This is okay a two-part question, but for Josh, how did you propose? And also, how did you know that she was the one?
Good question.
So I actually also proposed in the Dr. White room. So I reached out to their email and asked if I could reserve the room. And Lisa was coming down from her hometown, and she thought she was meeting me, Jules mentioned him, Amanda, she's over there, for brunch. And her cousin dropped her off and told her to go to the place where we first met. And so I think by then she kind of had a feeling that I was going to do it. I had stuff set up like pictures, tables, memorabilia, and then I was just waiting there, and then she walked in. I also sang her a song, which I don't sing, but and then the second part of the question, it's kind of a weird answer, and like you guys might not believe me, but the day I actually first met her, I had this weird like feeling. I was like, what if I marry this girl? Like a completely random like thing. And like I said, we didn't start dating until a few months after, so it was obviously just a very like fleeting thought in my head. But I don't know, maybe it was God, some higher power was trying to tell me something. But ever since the day I met her, I felt drawn to her in some way.
Thank you, Josh. That's such a sweet answer. I think, for me personally, I think the reason why a lot of us ask for cover crushes is to kind of incite the romance and kind of like, you know, more connection type of aspect between our Kababayans. And so, Josh's example is like, so like emblematic of that. And so, yeah. So our next question is, how have your personal / core values changed after meeting your partner?
I would say that a lot of traits that I had innately inside of myself, Lisa really brought out to its fullest potential. I think I mentioned earlier her pet peeve is laziness, so naturally she wants me to be driven, work hard, and she's brought out the best parts of me.
I would say that I'm more anxious, I'm very hardworking, and I don't know how to take breaks. So he actually has been my better half of letting me know when to take care of myself, prioritizing my mental health, my physical health, and yeah, those are things that I wouldn't have focused on. I'm so career-driven, family-driven, friends-driven, but I've never been Lisa-driven. So he's helped me a lot with that.
I feel like David is very, I would agree with like David, he likes to take care of himself. So I feel like similar to Lisa, I think he like taught me to take care of myself. Yeah, like with my mental health and like physically, and just like also grinding toward what I want to do in the future. I feel like David's very, I don't know, like you grind a lot, so I feel like that kind of rubbed off on me. So I appreciate that.
I think for me, like thinking about before we started like dating and stuff, I was very much like to myself, and I didn't really have a problem with that. And like I really enjoy time with myself, and sometimes it'd be kind of hard to get me out and like be with other people. But I think like ever since I started dating Alyssa, like I feel like we were just like attached at the hip, and like anytime that we would want to go do something, like I would always be down to go and like do with her. And then I guess thinking to now, like whenever I hang out with myself or like whenever I like grab food, I always think like, oh, it'd be so much better if Alyssa was here. So I think like she definitely changed that aspect of me, and even just like I think that carries towards like my friendships and relationships outside of ours, just like with my friends as well, just making sure to take care and like continue to value those. And yeah.
Thank you so much to our panelists. As Kababayan, I think we kind of as a cultural organization, we kind of overlook that it's also a very social organization, and it's one of the main pillars of our community. And so I think what our panelists showed is that by kind of exemplifying our social pillar, we kind of touch each other's hearts and we become closer as a Kababayan community. So yeah.
Okay, and your next question for all panelists is, how has your Filipino culture impacted how you view your relationships, whether it be romantic, friendships, etc.?
I would say growing up, I watched my mother do a lot. Like, she was super woman. She would work, clean, cook, etc. So I naturally became very caregiving-like. All I wanted to do was take people. Like, if I loved someone, I would take care of them. And even outside of my relationship, I pride myself on taking care of those around me. Being Filipino, we're naturally like kind. That's why so many of us are nurses. Like, we're like kind, we're selfless, etc. So I would say that being Filipino, I almost embodied those traits. And yeah.
Good question.
Yes. Your question is, how has Filipino culture impacted how you view your relationships? So romantic, friendship, etc.
Yeah, I guess I'm like very similar into where my mom was doing a lot of the work in the house. And you know, I feel like seeing her, or at least when I was a kid, I thought she was kind of like carrying the family. No offense to my dad. But I just felt like I always wanted to like take care of her, and I would, you know, she'd show me how to cook and stuff like that. So I think taking that into my relationship, just kind of, I guess, breaking the social norms, I guess, because my dad expected my mom to clean, my mom to cook. And at the start of our relationship, it's kind of funny, she was working as a CA in Puerto. And like, I would be at her studio apartment, and then when she'd come back from a shift, I'd be like there cooking for her and stuff. So it'd be like, yeah, she'd be like, oh, like make me dinner and stuff. So it's kind of like reversing that like traditional stereotype, and like something that I wanted to give to her just because I don't want it to be like, oh, this person does this because of like traditional values and stuff. So I guess that's how it kind of like shaped like our relationship.
I feel like growing up, I didn't really like feel like I was Filipino. I grew up in a very like predominantly like white community, so I felt like a white person for like most of my life until I came to college. So I feel like having so many, like knowing so many Filipinos it's really comforting, I feel, and I feel like we're all very like very caring, very nice, and I feel like in our relationship, I feel like we're very like I feel like yeah, I think before I would really like take care of like my friends, or like not in like a way that like I feel like a Filipino would. I feel like we're very caring. I feel like in our relationship, I feel like we take care of each other more, and I feel like it's nice to have each other, to be like both Filipinos. It's very like nice to share the same background, and I think I don't know, it was very nice to like have like the same type of like identity as a Filipino.
Yeah, I would say kind of one thing that's kind of been exemplified tonight is how Filipinos treat their friends, and it's almost like we treat our friends like our own family. Like I'm sure you have like a tito or tita that's not even related to you, but it's like your parents' friends or like something like that. So I think, yeah, that's one thing that just has passed down to generations is how strong-rooted we are. And that's why Kaba is what it is today, because we value our friends just as much as we value our families.
Thank you so much to all of your responses. I truly think the community aspect is what kind of makes like our Filipino culture, like you guys said, like how your mothers taught you to take care of one another, and how like you take care of your friends like they're your family. And just like knowing a lot of people, especially with like your background of not knowing a lot of them in the past, is just really, really builds up to that community aspect. So thank you so much. And
our next question is hopefully going to take you down memory lane. What is one of your favorite Kaba memories?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that doesn't involve Lisa, because I feel like all my favorite memories of it.
My favorite memory had to be I think it was our 45th gala. It was because most of my friends were drunk, and like trying to chase them around the gala was really hard. Our friend Jules, I bring him up a lot, but he was like running around, and like everyone's like, we have to go find him. So that's one of my favorite memories, because like imagine wearing like heels looking for your friend, like, and yeah.
I would say my second year spring retreat. That was really fun. You know what happens at retreat. Everyone becomes a new person. But I think that was really, really fun. I think that was like the first time I met so many people all in like one house. So that was really interesting. And I remember having like these white t-shirts, and we signed like everyone's like names and like messages, and like everyone's like had like words like so many different colors and like messages on the shirt by the end of the night, and it was honestly like super, super fun.
I think for me, it's not necessarily like a specific memory, but just the experience of being on packing board, just because I really enjoyed everyone on that board, and we were on board together. So that was like really fun to just go through that leadership experience. Also, being the BMC court, we had like our little suite, and I think we were all like really close. So meetings were like always super fun, and we, just like the previous year in BMC, we all like became like really close. So I think just thinking about those like little moments, even though we're working or we're in the meetings and stuff, like just all like the laughs in between was just a lot of fun, and I look back at that very fondly.
Okay, so I will say it was the one pack-in that I did take part of in person, because I did take part of a COVID pack-in, which was a little bit different. But everyone always brings up like the pack-in magic, and I didn't believe it until I joined, and I had a really good experience. I feel like growing up, I was always like I don't dance like, kind of guy, but I was up there and I was dancing, and I had a lot of fun. So.
Which suites?
Mindanao. I think that was it. I did MC, that was the COVID one, but yeah, I think just Mindanao. Yeah.
Thank you guys all for mentioning those wonderful memories. For our very last question, it's going to be asked by an audience member.
Hi everyone, my name is Brandon. I'm currently a first year public health major, and I go by him. And this is a question for everyone, and my question is, what is an underrated characteristic that you see in your partner that you believe should be more important when considering a future with someone?
I think not taking yourself too seriously. When I met David, he was a very serious person. And like, I don't want to expose him, but he's gotten very, very comfortable around me. like humor-wise, like he's very comfortable with himself. And I feel like that's such an important characteristic, seeing if your partner is very like, you know, comfortable with himself when he's around you. Because if you're not really comfortable with your partner, then what's the point of like being with them if you can't be like your true self?
I guess the opposite of that, someone who makes you feel comfortable with yourself and makes you come out of your shell. You know, like seeing me right now, I'm like, the person I am with Alyssa is like, it's completely different to when the person I was like before I met her. But then I think also a quality I think of that Alyssa has is just being like supportive in whatever you want to do. I think for me, being like a business major and wanting to go in sports, like the job market's like hard enough already. Like I just made it like way harder for myself. And you know, in sports, it's hard to get a job, doesn't pay well, and it's really a grind. So having someone next to me who's like very supportive of that and, you know, encourages me even though I doubt myself, like, oh, should I still pursue this career? Do I still want it? Like she understands where like that initial drive comes from. So I think she's always like very supportive of like whatever I want to do, and like even outside of the career, like my hobbies and stuff, like I really like going climbing, and she was like super scared of heights. So, but she still like gave it a try, and now she like loves climbing. So just like someone who's like always wants to support you, and is just like very like interested in like your interests as well.
I would say that it's like somewhat related and not, but who their friends are say a lot about them. So if you are like, their friends aren't like that good people, like I would say that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Like they are very much very similar. And one other thing that I like, so one, if you have to like their friends. Two, I would say that your friends have to like them too. And it's also because I always say that your 5 closest people represent you. And if your 5 closest people like your partner, it makes it really easier to like get through life. And the way that Josh treats my friends has always been kind. Like from the moment we started dating, he wanted to meet all of my friends in Selva. Like he didn't have to meet my friends our first like second, third date, but he met them anyways. And I would say that, I would say like that was a big factor to it, because when he's kind to everyone, he'll be kind to you mostly too.
A trait from Lisa that I think everyone should kind of seek from their partner is empathy. And Lisa's probably the most empathetic person I know. You've heard her talking about caring for others, caring for friends. And I think that you can tell a lot about someone just by how they treat others. And you can tell a lot of how they will probably treat you too.
Yeah, so sorry, for no comment for this time, because we are trying to end it on on time. But yes, but our last question is: are you a learning yearner or yearning learner?
Definitely a yearning learner. Although I'm getting kind of confused. But I would say yearning learner because I think just throughout your whole life you'll always be learning. You'll be a lifelong student.
Okay. I think I'm a yearning learner because I don't know what the other one stands for. but I would, like I said, I'm a PhD student. I'm a student at heart. I'm also a TA currently. I just love learning, teaching, etc. So I think I yearn for that.
I guess I'm also a yearning learner. But yeah, I think every experience I go into, even though I have a plan of like how I want it to turn out, I think that I know like whatever experience I do get out of that, like there's always something to be learned from or learn from that experience. So I always constantly try to like challenge myself in whatever position I am, and always try to like push the boundaries and whatever experience I'm having to like really learn from it, whether it was a success or a failure.
What is a learning yearner before I answer this?
It's like, or for me, I think of it as like you're learning to yearn. And then yearning learner is like you're yearning to learn.
Oh, I think I'm yearning to learn. I don't know if I said this, but I'm still taking some class, like prerequisites to do a CLS program. So yeah, I feel like I'm constantly challenging myself. Doing like a full-time job and taking classes is pretty difficult. And also like keeping myself motivated to go to school again is very, very hard. But I think I'm doing a pretty good job at sticking to it. Yeah.
Thank you so much to our panelists for answering all of our questions.
Yes, can we get a round of applause for our panel? Yes, that wraps up this quarter's alumni panel. Thank you all for coming out to meet Alyssa's second to last alumni panel.